Celebrities you didn't know were actually Black. What if I told you some of the celebrities you've admired for years were part of Black history and you never even realized it? Not because they hid it, but because society still judges identity by appearance. From global superstars into award-winning actors, many grew up navigating two worlds, proving talent doesn't belong to one shade, one culture, or one stereotype. Their stories challenge assumptions and expose how easily people label others without knowing their roots. Today, we're breaking those illusions. This is more than celebrity gossip. It's about heritage, pride, and understanding. If this surprised you, comment your thoughts below and join the conversation. Subscribe to Black Excellence Legends for powerful stories the mainstream often overlooks. Jesse Williams. Jesse Williams has long been recognized as a talented television actor. Yet one of the most discussed aspects of his public life is his heritage and how it shaped his perspective. Born in Chicago to an African-American father and a mother of Swedish descent, Williams grew up navigating spaces where identity was constantly questioned. When his family moved to a predominantly white suburb, he often found himself one of the few Black students in school. This environment influenced how he understood race and belonging. Before acting, he worked as a high school teacher, an experience that strengthened his interest in social awareness and communication. He later entered entertainment and gained worldwide recognition portraying Dr. Jackson Avery on the long-running medical drama Grey's Anatomy. The role made him a familiar face on international television and brought him a large audience, but he never limited himself to acting alone. He became actively involved in social advocacy and public discussions about equality, education, and representation. Williams frequently speaks about the unique position of mixed heritage individuals, how appearance can affect how others categorize them, sometimes placing them between communities rather than fully accepted by either. His speeches and interviews emphasize empathy and awareness. He has supported organizations addressing civil rights and educational access, and he often uses public platforms to encourage conversation rather than division. Rather than presenting identity as a label, he frames it as a lived experience shaped by history, family, and environment. He has also worked behind the camera as a producer and director, broadening his role within the entertainment industry. Williams' story connects strongly to the video's theme. People often assume heritage based only on appearance. His life shows how identity cannot be measured visually. He frequently reminds audiences that understanding begins with listening to others' experiences. The broader message in his journey is human respect grows when people learn rather than judge. In a world quick to categorize, his perspective encourages openness and empathy, qualities that create connection far beyond celebrity culture. Halle Berry. Halle Berry is one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses, yet many viewers are surprised to learn about the complexity of her background. Born in Cleveland, Ohio to an African-American father and a white British-American mother, she grew up at a time when interracial families often faced social tension. After her parents separated, she was raised primarily by her mother. As a child, she attended schools where she was frequently the only Black student in her class. She later spoke openly about bullying and the pressure to prove herself academically and socially, explaining that achievement became her way of gaining acceptance. Her path to fame began in modeling and beauty pageants. She won Miss Teen All-American and later became the first runner-up in the Miss USA competition, eventually representing the United States in Miss World 1986. Acting soon followed with early television roles, leading to major film opportunities. Her performances in movies such as Boomerang, introducing Dorothy Dandridge, and Monsters Ball earned critical attention. In 2002, she made history by winning the Academy Award for Best Actress, becoming the first Black woman to receive that honor in a leading role category, a milestone that remains significant in film history. Beyond awards, Berry has spoken about identity and self-worth. Growing up biracial meant she often felt she had to choose a side, yet she eventually embraced both parts of her heritage. She has supported charitable causes, including domestic violence awareness and health advocacy, using her visibility to address social issues. Her career demonstrates perseverance. Success did not come easily. It came after rejection auditions and years of determination. Berry's story reinforces the idea that heritage does not define limits. She often encourages young people to value individuality rather than conformity. The lesson from her journey is simple, but powerful. Confidence develops when a person stops trying to fit expectations and instead learns to accept who they truly are. Halsey. Halsey, born Ashley Nicolette Frangipane, built her career in a generation shaped by the internet, but her story goes far deeper than viral music success. Raised in New Jersey, she comes from a mixed heritage. Her father is African American with Irish roots, while her mother is of Italian and Hungarian descent. Because of her light complexion, many listeners assume she was white, a misunderstanding she has addressed openly. Growing up, she often described feeling caught between identities, especially when people dismissed her experiences with race simply because she did not look black to them. Before fame, her life was unstable. Her family struggled financially, and at times she lived out of her car while trying to pursue music. She began posting songs online, and her breakout came with the track Ghost, which gained attention through streaming platforms. That exposure led to her debut album Badlands in 2015, followed by commercially successful releases such as Hopeless Fountain Kingdom and Manic. Her music blends pop, alternative, and electronic influences while frequently addressing mental health, belonging, and self-acceptance. Halsey has spoken candidly about how appearance can grant privilege even within marginalized identity. She acknowledges that her lighter skin shields her from certain discrimination, yet she still carries the cultural history of her family. This honesty has resonated with younger audiences navigating similar questions of identity. Beyond music, she has supported social causes, including racial justice, LGBTQ+ rights, and mental health awareness. She uses concerts and social media not only for promotion, but also for advocacy, encouraging dialogue among fans. Her journey fits the theme of the video perfectly. Heritage is not always visible. Halsey's experience shows that identity is not determined solely by public perception, but by lived reality. She often reminds listeners that understanding others requires empathy rather than assumptions. The message in her story is deeply human. Belonging is not about how others label you, but about accepting yourself and respecting the experiences of others. Kimora Lee Simmons. Kimora Lee Simmons built an international reputation in fashion and business, yet her background has often surprised those who only knew her as a model or designer. She was born in St. Louis, Missouri, to a Japanese-Korean mother and an African-American father. As a child, she stood out immediately. By early adolescence, she was unusually tall and physically mature compared with classmates. Instead of admiration, she often encountered teasing and isolation because she did not resemble anyone around her. These early experiences shaped her confidence and ambition. At just 13 years old, she was discovered by a modeling scout and soon signed with Chanel, working under renowned designer Karl Lagerfeld. Traveling internationally at a young age introduced her to the fashion industry's expectations and discipline. Rather than remaining only a model, she later transitioned into entrepreneurship. She created the clothing brand Baby Phat, a line that combines streetwear aesthetics with high fashion influences. The brand became extremely popular in the early 2000s and helped bring urban-inspired fashion into mainstream retail culture. Simmons expanded her work into television, business mentoring, and philanthropy. She has spoken about raising her children with an understanding of cultural tolerance, emphasizing pride in both sides of their heritage. Her public statements frequently address diversity, encouraging young people to embrace differences rather than hide them. She also participates in charitable initiatives focused on education and family welfare. Her life demonstrates how early insecurity can become motivation. The traits that once made her feel excluded eventually became strengths in a creative industry that values uniqueness. Her story suggests that individuality can become an advantage when embraced confidently. By teaching acceptance and respect within her own family and community, she shows that identity should not divide people, but enrich human connection and understanding. Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, born Mark Sinclair, became one of Hollywood's biggest action stars, yet his background has long been a subject of curiosity. Raised in New York City by his mother and African-American stepfather, a theater manager and acting teacher, Diesel grew up immersed in performance arts. He has never publicly identified his biological father, but he has repeatedly acknowledged connections to multiple cultures and described himself as a person of mixed heritage. Because of his fair complexion and muscular appearance, many viewers never realized he had black ancestry, making him a frequent example in discussions about how race is often judged by looks alone. His acting journey did not begin with blockbuster fame. Diesel initially struggled to find roles that fit his ambiguous appearance. Casting directors often did not know where to place him, He was considered not white enough for some parts and not black enough for others. Instead of waiting for acceptance, he wrote and produced his own short film, Multifacial 1995, which explored the challenges of a mixed heritage actor navigating Hollywood stereotypes. The film gained attention at film festivals and eventually opened doors in the industry. Global recognition came later with the Fast and the Furious franchise, where he portrayed Dominic Toretto, a character built on loyalty and family values. The series grew into one of the highest-grossing film franchises in cinema history. Diesel also voiced the character Groot in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, demonstrating versatility beyond action roles. Throughout his career, he has emphasized the importance of inclusivity and multicultural casting. His success shows how persistence can overcome rigid expectations. Diesel's story fits the theme clearly. Identity cannot always be determined by appearance. His journey suggests that opportunity should not depend on labels, but on talent and determination. The broader message is simple: people are more complex than categories, and understanding begins when we move beyond surface assumptions. Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet gained widespread attention in the 1980s as an actress, yet her heritage often surprised audiences who first encountered her on television. Born in San Francisco, she is the daughter of an African-American father and a white Jewish mother. Growing up, she frequently felt she did not fully belong in any one group. In school and social settings, she experienced uncertainty about how others perceived her identity. Rather than openly discussing her feelings at the time, she became reserved and observant, learning to navigate environments where she sometimes felt different from everyone around her. Her breakthrough role came as Denise Huxtable on The Cosby Show, one of the most influential television programs of its era. Her character was known for independence and individuality traits that mirrored aspects of her real personality. She later appeared in films and other television projects, maintaining a career that emphasized artistic expression rather than constant publicity. Unlike many celebrities, she often chose privacy and creative authenticity over mainstream fame. Bonet has spoken in interviews about self-acceptance and emotional resilience. Being biracial during a period when conversations about identity were less open made her question where she fits socially and culturally. Over time, she learned to embrace both sides of her background rather than trying to choose one. Her reflections highlight how identity can be complex and personal. Her story aligns strongly with the theme that outward appearance does not reveal a person's full history. Bonet's life shows that understanding oneself can take time, especially when society expects simple categories. The human lesson in her experience is that belonging begins with self-acceptance. When individuals accept their whole identity, they become more confident and compassionate toward others facing similar struggles. Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the most recognizable figures in entertainment and sports. Yet many people are surprised to learn about the full scope of his heritage. Born in California, he is the son of African-American professional wrestler Rocky Johnson and Samoan wrestling promoter Ata Johnson. Growing up, he moved frequently between the United States and New Zealand, experiencing different cultures and expectations. Because of his lighter complexion and international upbringing, some audiences initially did not realize he was part black, leading to discussions about identity and perception throughout his career. Johnson first gained fame in professional wrestling during the late 1990s, becoming one of the most popular performers in WWE history. His charisma, humor, and connection with fans helped him transition successfully into acting. He later starred in major films, including the Fast and the Furious series San Andreas and Jumanji, eventually becoming one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. Despite his success, he often emphasizes family heritage and proudly acknowledges both his Black and Samoan roots. In interviews and public messages, Johnson has addressed questions about identity directly. When some people assumed he was not Black, he responded by stating he identifies equally with both sides of his ancestry. He frequently speaks about discipline, perseverance, and gratitude, encouraging audiences to pursue goals through consistent effort rather than shortcuts. He also supports charitable causes involving children's health, disaster relief, and education programs. His life illustrates how identity can be broader than public assumptions. Johnson's experience demonstrates that pride in multiple cultures can coexist rather than compete. The human message in his journey is that heritage is not a limitation, but a foundation. By embracing every part of his background, He shows that unity and respect can grow when people celebrate differences instead of questioning them. Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is best known as a legendary baseball player, yet his background has often surprised fans unfamiliar with his family history. Born in New Jersey, he has an Irish-American mother and an African-American father who also played professional baseball. Growing up, his parents emphasized education, discipline, and respect, encouraging him to work hard in both academics and athletics. He later attended school in Michigan, where his talent on the baseball field quickly became evident. Jeter was drafted by the New York Yankees in 1992 and eventually debuted in Major League Baseball in 1995. Over the next 2 decades, he became one of the most consistent and respected players in the sport. He helped lead the Yankees to multiple World Series championships and earned numerous individual honors, including All-Star selections and Gold Glove awards. Known for calm leadership and reliability under pressure, he became team captain and a central figure in one of baseball's most successful eras. Although his career focused on sports rather than public discussions of race, his heritage contributed to conversations about representation. Because of his appearance, many viewers did not realize he was biracial. Jeter himself often emphasized professionalism over controversy, choosing to lead by example. He later established charitable initiatives supporting youth education and development through the Turn 2 Foundation, helping students avoid substance abuse and pursue positive goals. His story reflects how identity can exist quietly without constant explanation. Jeter demonstrated that character and dedication often speak louder than labels. The lesson from his life is that achievement does not require abandoning heritage, but living it through integrity and respect. By focusing on discipline, teamwork, and community service, he showed that influence can inspire others without needing to be loudly proclaimed. Nicole Richie. Nicole Richie first became widely known through reality television, yet her background often surprised audiences who only associated her with celebrity culture. Born Nicole Camille Escovedo, she is the daughter of musician Peter Michael Escovedo and has African-American heritage alongside other ancestries. She was later adopted and raised by singer Lionel Richie and his wife, growing up in a privileged environment within the entertainment industry. Because of her lighter complexion and public image as a socialite, many viewers never realized she identified as Black. Her early fame came from the reality series The Simple Life, where her humorous personality and sharp wit gained attention. Over time, she moved beyond television stereotypes and focused on creative business ventures. She launched the fashion brand House of Harlow, 1960, which became successful in accessories and lifestyle products. Instead of relying solely on media attention, she built a steady career as a designer, author, and entrepreneur. Richie has spoken about identity with straightforward honesty, often saying she simply considers herself Black without needing to justify it. Her experience reflects a common reality for biracial individuals whose appearance does not match public expectations. Rather than allowing assumptions to define her, she chose to define herself. She has also supported charitable initiatives, particularly those benefiting children and families in underserved communities. Her journey demonstrates how public perception can differ from personal reality. While people often categorize others based on outward appearance, Richie's life shows identity as rooted in heritage and experience, not stereotypes. The human message within her story is acceptance. By embracing who she is without explanation or apology, she encourages others to feel confident in their own backgrounds. Her example reminds audiences that belonging does not depend on approval from others, but on self-understanding and respect for one's history. Wentworth Miller. Wentworth Miller gained international fame for his role as Michael Scofield in the television series Prison Break, but his heritage is more complex than many viewers realized. Born in the United Kingdom to American parents, his family background includes African ancestry from his father, along with European heritage from his mother. Because of his appearance, he was often perceived as white, leading many fans to be unaware of his Black lineage. Growing up, Miller moved frequently and experienced feelings of isolation. He attended Princeton University, where he studied literature before pursuing acting. Early in his career, he faced rejection in auditions, often being told he did not fit expected categories. Casting directors struggled to place him into defined racial roles, which limited opportunities despite his talent. His breakthrough finally came when he was cast in Prison Break in 2005, turning him into a global television star. Beyond acting, Miller became known for his personal honesty. He publicly discussed mental health struggles and spoke about self-acceptance after years of feeling pressure to conform to expectations. His openness resonated with many people who felt misunderstood or marginalized. He has since supported mental health awareness and anti-bullying campaigns, using his platform to encourage compassion and understanding. Miller's story strongly reflects the video's theme: identity cannot be assumed from appearance. His experience highlights how individuals may carry cultural heritage that others do not immediately see. The deeper lesson is empathy. By sharing his personal journey, he encourages others to look beyond assumptions and listen to people's lived experiences. His life demonstrates that authenticity brings strength and that understanding others begins with recognizing their full humanity rather than judging by surface impressions. Slash-born Saul Hudson is widely regarded as one of the most influential rock guitarists of modern music. Yet many fans are unaware of his African-American heritage. He was born in London to a British father and an African-American mother. Ola Hudson, a respected costume designer who worked with major musicians in the 1970s and 1980s. Growing up in a creative household surrounded by artists and performers, he developed an early interest in music and visual expression. When his family moved to Los Angeles, he became immersed in the city's rock scene during a period of rapid musical experimentation. His breakthrough came as the lead guitarist of Guns N' Roses, where his distinctive playing style and memorable riffs helped define the band's sound. Songs such as Sweet Child O' Mine and Welcome to the Jungle became global hits, and his guitar work earned critical praise for blending blues influence with hard rock intensity. His signature top hat and curly hair became instantly recognizable. Yet his racial background was rarely discussed publicly, leading many listeners to assume a different identity. Slash later continued his career through solo projects and collaborations, including Velvet Revolver and his own band. He has consistently emphasized dedication to craft rather than image, focusing on musicianship and creativity. Over the years, he has also supported charitable causes, particularly those involving youth music education and artistic development. His life reflects the theme that identity cannot be determined by stereotypes. In a genre historically associated with narrow cultural expectations, Slash's presence showed that talent crosses boundaries. His story reminds audiences that art connects people beyond labels. The deeper message is that creativity flourishes when individuals are free to express themselves without limitation, and appreciation grows when listeners look beyond appearance to recognize genuine ability and passion. Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph built a reputation as a versatile comedian and performer, yet her heritage often surprises audiences who first encounter her through comedy. She is the daughter of acclaimed soul singer Minnie Riperton and composer Richard Rudolph, giving her African-American and European ancestry. Growing up in a musical environment, she was exposed to performance and creativity early in life. However, like many biracial individuals, she sometimes felt uncertain about where she fits socially, particularly in settings where people expected clear categories. Her major breakthrough came on Saturday Night Live, where her talent for impressions and character comedy made her a standout cast member. She portrayed numerous public figures and developed a wide fan base through humor and versatility. After leaving the show, she expanded into film and voice acting, appearing in comedies, animated features, and television series. Her performances demonstrated range beyond sketch comedy, combining comedic timing with emotional depth. Rudolph has spoken openly about identity and representation. As the daughter of a prominent Black artist, she grew up aware of cultural history, but also navigated environments where people questioned her background based on appearance. Rather than allowing confusion to define her, she embraced both sides of her heritage. She has supported arts education and community programs, encouraging creativity among young people. Her experience highlights how belonging is not determined by external judgment. Through humor and authenticity, she shows that identity can be celebrated rather than simplified. The human lesson in her story is acceptance. Individuals become more confident when they acknowledge every part of themselves. By embracing diversity in both her personal life and professional work, she demonstrates that understanding differences can bring people together rather than separate them. Yara Shahidi. Yara Shahidi emerged as one of the most thoughtful young figures in modern entertainment, not only because of her acting, but also her voice and social awareness. Born to an African-American father and an Iranian mother, she grew up navigating two rich cultural traditions at the same time. Rather than hiding that complexity, she openly embraced it. Her breakout role as Zoe Johnson on the sitcom Blackish and its spin-off Grownish introduced her to a global audience where she portrayed a confident, intelligent teenager wrestling with identity, education, and purpose. Outside acting, Shahidi distinguished herself academically. She attended Harvard University studying social sciences and public policy, a rare path for a young Hollywood star. She has been deeply involved in civic engagement, founding the organization 18 times 18 to encourage young people to vote and understand democratic participation. Her activism is not performative. She frequently participates in discussions on education equity and youth empowerment, showing maturity beyond her age. What makes her story meaningful is that she turned visibility into responsibility. Many celebrities chase fame, but Shahidi treats influence as a platform to educate. She has spoken about being both Black and Middle Eastern in a society that often forces simple labels, explaining that identity can be layered rather than divided. Her journey offers a human message. Self-knowledge builds confidence. When young people see someone proudly representing multiple backgrounds while pursuing education and service, they realize success is not just popularity, but purpose. Shahidi reminds audiences that real power comes from using opportunity to uplift others, not just oneself. J. Cole. J. Cole, born Jermaine Lamar. Cole is considered one of the most respected lyricists in modern hip-hop, yet his personal story often surprises listeners. He was born in Germany to an African-American father and a white American mother, and he grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, raised primarily by his mother after his father left early in his childhood. His upbringing in a modest household shaped his perspective on class, race, and ambition themes that would later define his music. Cole began producing beats as a teenager and pursued education seriously, earning a communications degree from St. John's University in New York. Unlike many artists who entered the industry through viral fame, he worked patiently, releasing mixtapes and personally handing his music to influential producers before finally signing with Jay-Z's Rock Nation label in 2009. His debut album, Cole World: The Sideline Story, debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, followed by critically acclaimed projects such as 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which went multi-platinum without guest features. What sets J. Cole apart is his storytelling. He addresses racial profiling, poverty, mental health, and personal accountability, often drawing directly from real experiences. He has also engaged in community efforts, including funding youth programs and investing in affordable housing in his hometown. Cole's life illustrates a deeper lesson: awareness is as important as achievement. He reminds listeners that success should not separate a person from their community. By speaking honestly about struggle and growth, he encourages reflection rather than division. His music teaches that empathy and understanding can bridge social differences, a message far more powerful than fame alone. Soledad O'Brien. Soledad O'Brien built her reputation not through glamour, but through credibility. Born to an Afro-Cuban mother and an Australian father, she grew up in a household that emphasized education, debate, and curiosity. Long before she became a recognizable television journalist, she studied English and American literature at Harvard University, a foundation that shaped her analytical storytelling style. O'Brien entered broadcasting during the 1990s, eventually becoming a prominent anchor and correspondent for major networks including NBC and CNN. Her reporting distinguished itself by focusing on people often overlooked. Instead of limiting coverage to political headlines, she produced in-depth documentaries such as Black in America and Latino in America, examining systemic inequality, access to education, and economic opportunity. These projects were widely discussed because they combined investigative journalism with human stories rather than statistics alone. Viewers saw families, students, and workers confronting structural barriers, which made complex issues understandable and personal. Later, she founded Starfish Media Group, producing long-form reports and documentaries across multiple platforms. She also created the Powerful Foundation, which mentors young women and helps fund college education, particularly for first-generation students. The organization reflects her belief that opportunity multiplies when knowledge is shared. O'Brien's career shows that identity can shape perspective without limiting professionalism. She often speaks about living between cultures and how that allowed her to ask different questions in interviews. Journalism at its best is about listening. Her work teaches that truth is not only found in major events, but in everyday lives. Real influence does not come from being the loudest voice, it comes from giving others a voice. Zendaya. Zendaya represents a modern generation of performers whose influence reaches far beyond entertainment. Born to an African-American father and a mother of European descent, she grew up in Oakland, California, surrounded by theater. Her mother worked at a performing arts school and compiler. From a young age, Zendaya rehearsed, studied stagecraft, and performed in local productions. That early discipline explains why she transitioned smoothly from child television roles into serious acting. She first gained recognition on Disney Channel, but refused to remain confined to teen comedy. Carefully choosing projects, she moved into film and dramatic television. Her role as Rue Bennett in HBO's Euphoria earned her multiple Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a drama series, making her one of the youngest winners in that category. Unlike many former child stars, she built her career deliberately prioritizing performance quality over quantity. Zendaya also became a major figure in fashion and film franchises, appearing in large productions such as Spider-Man and Dune. Yet she consistently uses interviews and public appearances to address representation, colorism, and self-confidence. She often credits mentors and emphasizes teamwork, reminding audiences that success is rarely achieved alone. What resonates most is her authenticity. She openly discusses insecurity, growth, and learning in public life, which makes her relatable to younger viewers navigating identity. Zendaya's story shows that fame can be balanced with humility. Talent may open doors, but character determines how long they stay open. Her message is simple: embrace who you are and use opportunity responsibly so others can believe in their own future too. Rashida Jones. Rashida Jones has one of the most fascinating backgrounds in Hollywood, yet for years many viewers never realized she was a Black actress. The daughter of legendary music producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton, she grew up surrounded by art, literature, and conversation, rather than celebrity spectacle. Her upbringing exposed her to multiple cultures and expectations at once, which later influenced both her career choices and the types of stories she wanted to tell. After graduating from Harvard University with a degree in religion and philosophy, Jones entered acting gradually. She gained widespread recognition as Karen Filippelli on The Office and later as Ann Perkins on Parks and Recreation. Unlike stereotypical comedic characters, her performances relied on natural dialogue, subtle timing, and emotional realism. Audiences connected with her because she portrayed ordinary, thoughtful women navigating careers, friendships, and self-worth rather than exaggerated personalities. However, acting was only part of her contribution. Jones became a respected writer and producer, co-writing the film Celeste and Jesse Forever, and later working on documentaries and television projects. One of her most notable efforts was the documentary Quincy, which explored her father's life and earned critical acclaim. Through producing and writing, she demonstrated that representation also exists behind the camera, not only on screen. She has also spoken openly about growing up biracial in America, explaining that she sometimes felt she belonged to two worlds but was fully accepted in neither. Instead of viewing that as a disadvantage, she turned it into empathy. Her interviews often emphasize understanding and communication rather than division. Jones's journey shows that identity is not always obvious at first glance, yet it profoundly shapes perspective. Her career encourages a human lesson: people are more complex than appearances suggest. When audiences learn to look beyond assumptions, they discover connection. Respect begins when we listen to someone's story instead of defining it for them. Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is often remembered for her 5-octave vocal range and record-breaking hits, but her personal history is just as compelling as her music career. Born to an African-American father of Afro-Venezuelan heritage and an Irish-American mother, she grew up in a racially divided environment on Long Island, New York. As a child, she frequently spoke about feeling isolated because she did not fully fit into either community. Those experiences shaped the emotional intensity that later defined her songwriting. Her breakthrough arrived in 1990 when her debut album produced 4 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, an almost unheard-of achievement for a new artist. Over the following decade, Carey dominated pop and R&B music with songs like Vision of Love Hero and We Belong Together. She has accumulated 19 #1 singles in the United States, placing her among the most successful recording artists in chart history. Beyond her voice, she co-writes most of her music, making her one of the most influential female songwriters of the modern era. Carey's journey was not without hardship. She has openly discussed anxiety, public scrutiny, and later her diagnosis with bipolar II disorder. Instead of hiding it, she used her platform to reduce stigma around mental health, reminding fans that success does not eliminate personal struggles. Her annual holiday classic, All I Want for Christmas Is You, has also become a cultural tradition worldwide, illustrating her lasting cultural impact. Her story carries a meaningful lesson. Identity can be complicated, but creativity can transform pain into connection. By turning vulnerability into art, Carrie showed that honesty often resonates louder than perfection. Thandie Newton. Thandie Newton built a career defined by intelligence and emotional depth rather than celebrity spectacle. Born in London into a Zimbabwean mother and a British father, she spent part of her childhood in Zambia before returning to the United Kingdom. Moving between continents exposed her early to cultural contrast and at times discrimination. She has spoken about struggling with belonging while growing up mixed race in environments that expected clear categories. Her acting career began in the early 1990s, but international recognition arrived through films such as Beloved Crash and The Pursuit of Happiness. Later, she reached a wider audience through television, particularly in HBO's Westworld, where her portrayal of Maeve Millay earned a Primetime Emmy Award. Newton became respected for portraying characters with emotional complexity, individuals confronting control, freedom, and identity. Beyond acting, she frequently addresses issues of representation and self-acceptance. Newton has discussed colorism within the entertainment industry and the pressure to conform to beauty standards. Instead of avoiding the conversation, she used interviews and public speaking to encourage honest reflection about prejudice and empathy. Her career demonstrates that storytelling can challenge social assumptions. By choosing roles that explore humanity rather than stereotypes, she reminds viewers that people are defined by experience, not appearance. The human lesson in her journey is simple yet powerful understanding. Others begins with acknowledging their dignity. When empathy replaces judgment, society becomes kinder and art becomes meaningful. After hearing these stories, one question remains. Does society still decide who counts as Black based on looks instead of heritage? Many of these celebrities faced confusion, rejection, or pressure to prove themselves, yet they still embraced every part of who they are. Their journeys remind us that identity is not a costume. It is history, family, and lived experience. Respect begins when we stop defining people by appearances and start listening to their stories. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think public perception has changed, or are we still judging too quickly? Share your opinion in the comments and be respectful to others. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Black Excellence Legends, where every story carries a lesson about dignity, empathy, and human unity.